In May, 2 days after an 18-year-old shot and killed 19 students and 2 teachers in Uvalde, Texas, the topic of gun control came briefly to the floor of the New Hampshire State House and was quickly dismissed. New Hampshire doesn't require any permit to purchase firearms, nor does it require any type of registration or licensing. Governor Sununu, beyond grants to schools to implement physical security measures, what promise will you make here tonight to parents and students that the state is doing everything it can to protect them from a school shooting in New Hampshire?
Yeah, look, I have kids in schools. It's scary. It really is. You see what's happening nationally. We're not immune from a school shooting, and nobody is, unfortunately. There's no single law that will guarantee that school shootings won't happen. That's very scary as parents. Now, overall, our our firearms laws here are really where they should be. I think we have a nice balance. It's where I think the general population, the folks of New Hampshire want those firearms laws to be. I get it. The Democrats want to just take guns and shut everything down, and they think that that's going to solve all the problems. I mean, in Chicago this week, 14 people shot in Chicago, 3 kids, right? No one's talking about that because it didn't happen in a school, but it's real. And they have some of the toughest firearms laws in the country. Look what's happening in some of these major cities, Massachusetts, Boston, some of these cities that just pass laws for political reasons to get a political win, to appease folks, to make them think that everything's going to be okay now. So it's really about the responsibility of the individuals, about the responsibility of communities to take this as a whole. So there's nothing that makes any guarantees to anyone, but where our firearms laws are today are really where they should be.
Dr. Sherman, in October, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords' gun safety organization endorsed you, saying you would fight for common solutions to gun violence. Specifically, what changes would you make then to the gun laws in the Granite State?
So we actually had 4 bills that we put in on the governor's desk in 2019. He vetoed all 4. He has recently signed into law a bill that prevents our municipal and state police from working with federal law enforcement. The things we need to do, and our number one, we're not taking people's guns. What we're doing is trying to make sure that the wrong people don't have them. When you look at every medical society, this is considered a crisis, not because of the mass shootings, but because of domestic violence and because of suicide. We know that that's a major way that people are ending their own lives. That's where the largest numbers of deaths due to gun-related deaths are. But the way we do this is we make sure our schools are safe with school zones. We make sure that there's background checks. We make sure that cross-state trafficking of illegal guns is blocked. That's how we move forward as a state to make sure that our children are safe and that our schools are safe.
I would just note that the organization you referenced, Ms. Giffords' organization that does want to take people's guns. They are looking for firearms bans all across the country, and they're getting great success with it. So that would be one of my great fears. Obviously, all the citizens, I think, would be concerned with Tom Sherman as governor.
15 seconds.
This is New Hampshire. Nobody is coming to take away the guns that people use for work, for self-defense, for recreation. That's just not going to happen. This is New Hampshire. I recognize that. But the governor has actually moved us backwards. And that's where we have to stop. My family has been exposed to 4 mass shootings. We need to stop it. I know how it feels. I know how close it can be. I know how personal it is. And we have to make sure that we take those common sense measures to protect the people of New Hampshire.